Hello everyone and welcome to the 4.0 Fury Marauder overview because you're just too damn angry to have a rotation. Actually it does have a rotation this time. It's not just the old charge and smash spec, because it was better known as yeah charge, yeah smash, job done. Okay, that was it. That was it beforehand. That was what the spec consisted of. Made famous in PvP by idiots generally, people who just charged and smashed and killed everyone. And it worked. It worked for a while, but now a little bit more of a thought process going into this one. Has a little bit more to it, and is pretty viable actually for raiding these days. Used to be had too much downtime to be viable, but these days with crit and crit multiplier having no diminishing returns, you know, and a couple of changes to the spec, you know, it is quite viable. So what is it all about? It's about being furiously angry, and it's basically all about Raging Burst if we're single targeting, getting Raging Burst to hit as hard as possible. Raging Burst blasts an enemy with a powerful blast of force energy, deals 6,000 kinetic damage, will always crit. However, if we have our I can't remember what the ability's called now. God damn it. Where is the thing that turns into an auto crit? There it is. Dominate. There it is. Can't remember what the icon looks like. Dominate, basically force charge and obliterate. Make your next smash or raging burst used within 20 seconds an automatic critical hit. So the whole idea of the spec is to get Raging Burst hitting as hard as possible. Now you do get a utility at level 64 which comes in handy. Furious Strike grants Furious Rage, which increases the critical damage bonus of your next smash or Raging Burst by 15%. This is very, very useful. Note that it says critical damage, okay? So you must make sure it's going to auto crit, okay? So you have to use either Charge or Obliterate, then Furious Strike, and then Raging Burst, okay? Just make sure you get them off in that order. Kind of gives us the basis of our rotation, because again it's just going to make this hit even harder. Okay, that's what we're going to do here with this. Yeah, it's a fairly simple spec. We made got a little bit more to it. You've got your smash, which does massive damage. Increase the damage dealt by smash by 40%. Reduces the cooldown of smash and raging burst by 3 seconds. Again, raging burst. Smash is what you use for AoE. Basically, if we're in a cleave situation, we're just going to get smash to hit as hard as possible. Here, it's a little bit more thought in PvP. You're going to have to charge, Furious Strike, and then smash, you know. But on a single target, Raging Burst is going to be ahead. We're not be smashing single targets. That's what we used to do in this spec, is use your auto crit smash on single target back in vanilla, back when I played it. That was back when I think that was the last time I really actually played this spec, back in the day. The other ability that we've got new is Mad Dash, which dashes you forward 20 meters and swirls your lightsabers about like an idiot. So it kind of fits with the Marauder. There you go. There you go. There's your Mad Dash for you. The fact it does damage is a bit useless. It's useful for getting out of things more than anything. You don't really use it for getting to things in this spec, because you're always going to use Charge or Obliterate generally, because again it just makes your next Raging Burst auto crit. So in this spec, not really useful. It's useful for getting out of things. You get the pounce on guards, you're in your melee range, you're sitting here at melee range, guards comes in, pounce, run away, and fire off your Mad Dash there. Useful, I did the EC SM, it was useful on Kephis as well, pretty useful there. It was also useful when I had these two on cooldown and had to get to the thing on the shield, the ads that were in the shield, just dash your way there really quickly. But it's not really an alternative to Obliterate or Charge, because again it doesn't make that auto crit. Let's have a look. See, you turn away, you out of here. Shouldn't have done that into the droid there, that was a mistake. But there you go. There's your Mad Dash, which is Yeah, it's alright. I mean, it gives you like a scamper thing. It does increase your defense chance by 100%. Should point out, it is useful. Not useful as an offensive ability. The fact it does damage is kind of pointless, really. It's kind of pointless. The problem with using it for cleave is you gotta sort of go and sort of look at the dummy and say, right, 19, 20 meters, is that 20 meters? No, 19 point, yeah, that'll do. We'll see how that takes, 19.5 meters. You kind of gotta look at the distance. We'll show it on the dummy here when it comes off cooldown. Come on, Mad Dash, and you can see only hit it once for 2,000 damage. So did you see the difference between that and charging in? Does more damage, and of course procs are Raging Burst and Smash there. So also procs are Force Scream. Force Scream when it procs costs no energy and costs no rage, and refunds us 1 rage instead of costing us rage. So that's pretty nice for our rage management. Rage management is an issue in this spec. Can be a bit of an issue. Still an issue. It's less of an issue than it was, but it still is problematic a little bit with rage generation. Right, we'll get to the utilities now. The new one you've got is Unflinching Determination. Activating Saber Ward grants immunity to stun, sleep, lift, and incapacitating effects for 6 seconds, which is nice in PvP, but useless, of course, in PvE. The ones I go with generally, Cloak of Carnage is the decent one. Increases the damage dealt by Cloak of Pain by 15%. Don't really care. But it does increase Cloak of Pain's duration. Now, Cloak of Pain, it reduces all damage taken by 20%. Okay, last 10 seconds instead of 6 seconds, so that's very good. If we're taking constant damage, then, you know, Cloak of Pain is very, very useful. You can also have Cloak of Rage as well. It's pretty handy. Cloak of Pain is active. It generates 1 rage whenever we're attacked. Has to assume that we're always going to be attacked, though. So fights where there's a lot of AoE damage, Underlurker, for example, Sword Squadron, those kind of fights. What's the other one? Titan 6 as well, can be useful there. So fights where we're always going to be taking constant damage, then while Cloak of Pain is up, again, it only works where we're taking damage. So if we're not taking constant damage, a little bit useless. Inexorable, whatever the hell that is. Generate 4 rage while stunned, immobilized, and put to sleep. Again, unless they are actually going to get stunned in a fight. You know, you could. I don't know if the Annihilation Droid stun procs this or not, but it would be useful there because you do get stunned there. Maiming Reach, increase the range at crippling slash is kind of pointless, and Overwhelm. Ravage immobilizes the target. Again, there's no real point to that. I like Brazen. Increases damage reduction by 2%, and we build 2 Fury when we get attacked. So again, it's very nice on those fights where we're taking constant damage. At least we have plenty of Fury. It's good because we're going to need that Fury, you know. So these two in conjunction are pretty nice. And again, Path Carver, Sweeping Slash deals 25% more damage, useful if we're cleaving. This is quite a good cleave spec. This is probably the best cleave spec of the Marauder. It's either that or Annihilation with its dot spread. Carnage, nah, not so much. Fury is pretty decent. You got your auto crit smash, which is pretty nice. In Masterful, our new ability, Thirst for Rage. Bloodthirst generates 12 rage when activated. Now, I would take this generally if we're raiding. Now, if we're popping our Bloodthirst, which is our big raid cooldown, again, that's why we brought the raids. Increases, converts 30 stacks of Fury to issue Bloodlust to you and your Operation Group members within 40 meters. Increases all damage and healing done by 10% for 10 seconds. Very, very useful. So if you're popping it at the start of the fight, I would take this. Okay, if you're not popping it at the start of the fight, you could maybe make an argument against it. But if we're going Bloodthirst at the start, because at the start of the fight, we generally want to pop Berserk. Okay, Berserk in Shi-Chio form, which is what we're in, instantly gives us 4 rage plus regenerates 8 rage over the next few seconds. Doesn't say how many seconds. Very, very useful in this spec because, again, we want our opening burst to hit, so we want to be using Berserk generally. However, if we are using Bloodthirst, then take this utility because it'll give you full rage, and then you can just go all in, but it really does increase your burst damage, okay? Because we want to go all in for burst at the pool if we're using Bloodthirst at the pool. So generally, I would take it. I would generally take it. Defensive roll reduces damage taken from area effects by 30%. Again, I was doing EC. So again, a lot of AoE damage. Zorn and Toth do it. The what is it called? The droids do as well. The tanks, should we say, Firebrand and Stormcaller, do a lot of AoE effects. And of course, the Shadow of Revenops have a lot of circles on the ground, which is area damage. So again, defensive roll, I would say, pretty damn useful. And it also increases internal and elemental damage reduction by 5%, which again is pretty helpful to us as well. Tends to be mostly dot damage is internal or elemental. Basically, Relentless Predication no longer requires or consumes Fury and will go on cooldown for 30 seconds when activated. If we're doing fights like the Underlurker, again, fights where we have to be in a position or we have to move someplace really fast, Underlurker HM, this is a requirement. Again, people take Marauders to this fight. We generally want to be spending our stacks on Berserk, generally, or Bloodthirst. We don't really want to spend them on Predication, or Predition, should we say, Transcendence, I believe it is, on the Sentinel. So again, it increases the movement speed. It also increases, what does it do? Range, melee and range defense by 10%. So it is a useful defensive cooldown. It is a useful speed boost for the entire raid. It's useful on quite a lot of fights. So fights where you have to be somewhere, again, Operator 9 as well is a good one. You can buff everyone if you've got a lot of melee and you're trying to run to destroy the cores. You can use it there as well. It's pretty useful. And if you were doing the Xeno Analyst as well in the Gree event, it was always very useful there. So again, I like this. I like Relentless. Generally going to come down to these three, really. Strangulate, kind of pointless. Interceptor, kind of pointless. Displacement. If we're getting stunned, you know, what was the boss on Assault on Titan? I don't think the Imperial one, but the Republic one does it, so you can use Cloak of Pain while stunned. Could be useful there, but really little else. Phantom increases our movement speed by 15%, and the movement speed bonus of Force Camouflage by 20%. Again, I just prefer Relentless because again, just everyone in the raids. If you're doing Underlurker, it's very important that everyone in the raid gets to the rock before the Rage Storm begins. So I would go with that. Subjugation reduces the cooldown of Obfuscate by 15 seconds and Disruption by 2 seconds. Now, if we're doing Draxus or we're doing Jargon Sorno, that could be useful. Disruption is your interrupt. Okay, Disruption is our interrupt. Has a 12-second cooldown, lowering it to 10 seconds. Again, it helps us out because Draxus, when we get the Mass Affliction, Sorno, you'll be on Sorno as a melee DPS usually, so you want to interrupt his heal as well. There's quite a few other things to interrupt. EC has a lot of trash that needs interrupting, so Subjugation can be useful. Well, there's a lot of nasty things that ads do in EC. Also KP as well. There's a lot of few nasty things that the ads do, particularly the technicians that repair the droids as well. These quite annoying, so interrupting is a good idea on that. Heroic, our new ability, through victory. Through victory, our chains are broken, which is the Sith code. Mad Dash can be used while immobilized and purges movement impairing effects when activated. Not really for PvE, to be honest with you. Mad Dash, the problem with Mad Dash is we really have to kind of guess where we're going to end up. We don't really know where we're going to end up with Mad Dash, so having it purge movement effects, not really. We can take the Expunge Camouflage as well to remove cleansable effects as well. Unbound generally is the go-to. If we want to remove movement impairing effects, because Perdition is active, it is applied or refreshed, it purges the movement impairing effects of everyone in the raid. Okay, so it tends to be Unbound, tends to be the winner of Through Victory. It's also on a shorter cooldown if you take the Relentless, which you're going to do. if we're doing it. So if we're doing a fight like Underlurker, Unbound generally is the go-to. Force Camouflage can cleanse movement impairing effects. Generally, if the whole group is getting a movement impairing effect, Unbound. If you're getting a movement impairing effect, generally it's going to be a choice between these two. Okay, it's good. I don't know why they've got both of them, really. Because Camouflage is... We'll check the cooldown on Camouflage. 45 seconds. They're both 45-second cooldowns, so pick whatever one you want out of them. Really, you can pick both of them and never get stunned, I guess. You know, you just be a sort of whirling machine of never getting rooted or anything like that, or any movement impairing effects on you. If you really want to, if you're a PvPer, I guess you could take both of them, but there you go. Cloak of Annihilation is maybe if we're getting good use out of Cloak of Pain, then each use of Assault or Battering Assault and Crippling Slash reduces the cooldown of Cloak of Pain by 3 seconds. For Fury, I tend to go with Brooding. Reduces the cooldown of Intimidating Roar by 15 seconds, who cares about that? You build 30 Fury over the course of your channel Hatred, okay? I like to start with Berserk, okay, which again converts our Fury, 30 stacks of Fury, so you can start before the pool with Channel Hatred. You can also use Frenzy as well, but it is a 2-minute 30 cooldown. I tend to save that, so it gives us essentially extra Rage. And Rage, this is a Rage-starved spec, so I tend to go with Brooding. Undying for raiding tends to win out, okay? Increase the duration of Undying Rage by 2 seconds and reduce its cooldown by 30 seconds. You could also maybe take Blood Ward. Again, if we're taking a lot of damage, then getting it, or we're taking a lot of constant damage over the course of the fight, getting attacked while Saber Ward is active heals you for 3% of your maximum health. Okay, so as long as Saber Ward is active, or generally Cloak of Annihilation. So generally between these three for a defensive ability. However, I quite like Undying. If we're taking spike damage in particular, or if we're doing pugs, and you know, we don't know these healers, Undying Rage increases damage reduction by 99% for 6 seconds. So anything that might kill us, potentially we can get out of. Okay, so we're doing pugs, maybe not the best healers, we don't know these healers, so Undying Rage we're just going to pop. Also for soloing, generally Undying Rage is the go-to for that. Blood Ward is okay, you know, it's okay. It depends if you trust your healers and you're not going to get hit by a big massive single hit to kill you, and you're not going to stand. Maybe if you get caught in something stupid and can't get out of it, Undying is just there just for a little bit of insurance, basically. That's what I like about it. In terms of gearing, it's fairly simple, actually. Gearing is fairly simple for the Marauder, the Fury Marauder. Cap your accuracy, and then it's crit. Okay? Accuracy 110, 110.5, a little bit over. We're going to drop a piece and then add a... I'm going to drop the boots. I've decided I'm going to drop these boots because I did get a 220 Mark II offhand. Managed to get one of them. That was pretty nice. I didn't win any set bonus pieces, but 220 Mark II offhand. Still to augment it, mind you. But crit is the way to go. Crit crystals. Okay, eviscerating crystals, 41 crit, 82 crit total. You get from both crystals. Augments, crit augments generally are the way to go as well. Alacrity, not really. It's in the head piece here, but probably going to replace that. It's not huge for this spec. Basically, we want Raging Burst to hit as hard as possible. That's the goal of the spec, bear that in mind. And because Raging Burst will always crit, then Crit Multiplier is the stat, which we get from crit. Okay, so we want critical, okay, crit increases melee crit chance, force crit chance, force crit damage bonus, melee crit damage. Melee crit chance reduction. What? What the hell? Why does it say melee crit chance reduction and not melee crit chance bonus? So it increases our melee crit chance and it reduces our melee crit chance. Weird. Alright, that's weird. Anyway, it does apply to our... You can see here, crit multiplier, 72%. You do get a bonus crit multiplier in this spec. About 80%, really. 40% crit. We don't really care about the actual critical chance percentage. We care about the critical multiplier percent chances. That's what we care about. That's why we don't augment mastery, we augment crit. And that's why we run crit crystals, because crit mastery does not increase crit chance. Okay, it does not, well, does not increase crit damage. It increases crit chance, crit multiplier, should we say. Mastery doesn't increase. Hence why we're going for crit. Okay. The set bonus as well should be a priority 6-piece set. Should be a priority. I don't have any set on this character. We've got like 208, 216, mostly comm gear. We've got 216 main hand. I've got mostly commendation gear. I'm not planning on raiding with this character. If you're going to raid his Fury, then Alacrity, it's a waste of time, to be honest with you. It really is. It will bring things off cooldown a little bit faster, but there are things here that lower the cooldown. Okay, I can't see if I can find it. Yeah, this is it here. Shicho form is active. Assault, battering assault, vicious slash, sweeping slash, force scream, vicious throw, furious strike, reduce the active cooldown of smash, raging burst, and obliterate by 1 second. There you go. So you don't really need alacrity. We got route at level 32. I can never remember where what all these icons are. I know what they do, but I don't know where they are. So rotation wise, again, the priority is to get raging burst to hit as hard as possible. I always start with 30 stacks of fury, so we can build it for free. You can start it with frenzy if you want. So what we're going to do here is just before the pool, we're counting down 3, 2, 1, frenzy, and then we're going to leap in, and then we're going to hit this. We're going to hit furious strike, and then we are going to hit, you can see here, a big raging burst. That's our priority generally. Get a furious strike off, get a raging burst off, and then we can hit scream to generate some rage if we want. Hit yourself a little bit of a force crush, and then we're just going master strike to generally waste a bit of time, or ravage, should we say, waste a bit of time. Then we want to obliterate, raging burst, and obliterate, furious strike, raging burst. Okay, that's always the way it goes. You can see we're back up to 30 stacks again, and we don't really have to use battering assault all that much for this spec. Battering assault is useful if we do run out of rage. If you speed this up, we will probably run out of rage. So again, we just wait. Again, we're doing our countdown to the pool. Star Parse actually has a pool countdown timer. Suggest you use it. So again, we're about 3, 2, 1, pool. In we go. Hit this off, hit that off. Fire off that, hit that. Hit an obliterate if you want. Fire off one of these. Get a ravager, get one of these out. Fire that off, and you can see it's just perfectly lined up there. Came off cooldown. Fire that off again. Now this was where the filler comes in. You're going to use vicious slash and assault as your filler, and then you get back to obliterate, raging burst, and fire that off, and then you can see you should have stacks of berserk. Don't forget to use force scream as well whenever it procs. So force scream will refund one force, rage. Force 1 rage. It's all different. All the classes different things, so you know. That's basically it. You can keep force crush on cooldown. Doesn't do a huge amount. Target is crushed. Lowers the movement speed. So it progressively slows the target. It's not going to work on raid bosses. AoE rotation is virtually the same. The only difference is we're going to replace Raging Burst with Smash. So for AoE, we're going into Cleave again, pull that out, hit one of them, hit a big smash off. Bear in mind the target is overwhelmed, so you can use area attacks, and then you're just going to fill in with, what's this called again, Sweeping Slash. Okay, and you're going to do that, and then of course you're going to obliterate, Furious Strike. You're going to make sure you have Battering Assault, so you can do obliterate, Furious Strike, smash again when it comes off cooldown. Quite nice for cleave actually. Your auto crit smash. Don't forget to use your force scream as well, just to generate rage as well. And you can also use frenzy, but I don't really see a huge need for frenzy. It's there if you need it, I guess. And you could use mad dash, but the problem with mad dash is if you're standing here hitting your boss at melee range and then you mad dash, you're all the way over here now. Like, look, we're miles away. Unless we can just leap back. You want to try that if you want, but honestly, it's not really that great of a strategy. Mad Dash doesn't do enough damage to be worth using, I don't think. At least in this spec. So your priority is always to get Smash, auto crit Smash during an AoE rotation. Master Strike, Ravage, should we say? It's not even Master Strike anymore, it's Blade Dance on the Sentinel. Ravage is just... I mean, it is a decently high priority, but you want to get this hitting hard. You can use Ravage. You generally replace Vicious Slash with Vicious Throw. When the target has low health, it tends to not be worth using Vicious Slash. You can use Vicious Slash while Ravage is coming off cooldown. So we'll try that little thing there again. We've got all our AoE rotation, blah blah blah, we've hit everything, Mad Dash away, and then leap back in if you want to do that. Really, if you really want to do that, then will regen focus, it'll regen rage, grant you 3 rage. As for my opinion on this spec, the only thing I would change about it is I'd get rid of Obliterate and just remove the cooldown of Force Charge, or reduce the cooldown to say 12 seconds from 15. That's 12 seconds. This is just reduce this to 15 and just basically remove Obliterate and just make Charge have no range, because they changed it in Annihilation. Charge now has a range, but Force Rend now builds rage. You use Force Rend rather than Charge, because you used to use Charge when you were right next to the boss. You can see your Charge's minimum range is 10 meters. I'd like them, personally, they could just have got rid of Obliterate. It costs 2 rage, which is okay. The thing you always want to make sure that you have for this spec is make sure you have enough rage for Obliterate, Furious Strike, Raging Burst. Just make sure you have enough rage for that, okay? It's going to cost you 5, 3's 8 to 10 rage, so you're going to have quite a lot of rage. So Battering Assault you can use to generate rage. Force Scream when it procs will give you 1 rage as well. Don't forget Berserk, very very useful, because it can have issues, especially on longer fights, but it's less of an issue because what we used to do is be left with nothing to press, and we were sitting there going assault, 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 assault. Oh, everything's back. Obliterate, smash. It was basically while we were waiting for Master Strike. Force Crush didn't really do much. It does do a bit of it's not really a dot. It deals a bit of damage at the start, does a bit of damage at the end, so we're just going to use it. It's not really a huge priority, Force Crush, really, but something there to use. It only costs 3 rage, really. So, and again, Ravage doesn't cost any rage. So Ravage does a decent amount of damage. But, yeah, it's a fairly simple spec. It has been added the complexity. There's now a 3-button rotation instead of a 2-button rotation. Okay, with a cooldown, obviously, in there. So it's not the PvP facial lol smash spec that it once was, but it's still a decent spec. It's actually, I liked it. I actually like this. A Marauder spec, I actually like. Unlike Carnage, which I hate, still don't think it's viable for raiding. In terms of a raiding spec, that's if you don't like Annihilation and you want to play a Marauder, Carnage or Fury, I prefer Fury, to be perfectly honest. Okay, I just prefer Fury. Better, it's just a better spec, to be honest with you. The main difference between Fury and Carnage is that your window for burst is 10 seconds long instead of 3. Okay, your burst window is created whenever you use leap, as we say, charge, and Furious Strike creates your big burst. From Raging Burst, it's 10 seconds long. Okay, where is it? It lasts. Increases in damage now. Oh, Cascading Power. Increased damage dealt by 5% after dealing damage with Smash or Raging Burst. Again, this is why we tend to use Ravage after that, because again, it just gives you more damage from Ravage as well. Again, it's 20 seconds actually. This is 20 seconds. Your other one is Furious Rage. I think it's 10 seconds. See a long Furious Rage. It doesn't say how long Furious Rage lasts for. Grants Furious Rage. I think Furious Rage is 12 seconds. So it's a 12-second window in which to do your burst, and you've got a 20-second thing here. But it's about 12-second window here. So you've got a decent window. Bear in mind the window for burst in Carnage is 3 seconds. Okay. Door increases armor penetration by 100% for 3 seconds. So this is just far more flexible on a raid boss. I think on the dummy, Carnage is ahead, but on raid bosses, Fury is just nice. Gearing wise, they're both pretty much the same. Fury and although Fury you can use Alacrity as well. With Fury you want some Alacrity. With this one you don't really need Alacrity because you've got things that lower the cooldown of abilities anyway. And Alacrity doesn't affect the rate that you generate rage at. You could argue it will bring Battering Assault off cooldown faster, but you know, we get our Berserk, we've got our Frenzy, so I don't really feel that we need Alacrity in this spec. But yeah, we'll take a look at Carnage next. Take a look at the Carnage spec. We're doing melee, doing all the melee DPS specs. We've done the 2 Vanguard ones. We'll take a look at Carnage. Spec I don't like, to be honest with you, I don't like it. Annihilation we'll take a look at after that. I don't like Annihilation either. Really, I think it's a bit less fiddly though in this expansion, but Fury, I enjoyed it. It's a nice fun spec to play as. Might be a bit of downtime, you know, maybe play a Marauder a bit more this expansion. So anyway, thank you for joining me for this video. There you go, I made a Marauder video where I didn't criticize the Marauder too harshly. But I actually like this spec. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.